Hey everybody, so I figured I'd do a video so y'all would know what to expect whenever we start hatching out our quail. I have multiple different incubators that hold different amounts of eggs, and I really like to hatch about anywhere from 12 to 18 at a time. I haven't really done more than that. Is this year going to be the year we try? I don't know, maybe. So, and go ahead and apologize if I don't have the angle just right. I'm trying to get it, with this camera and still trying to learn how to do it all. So, because we're a new channel, like and subscribe. So, whenever you're hatching quail, the eggs really need to be in between 7 and 10 days old. From the time that they are laid, 7 to 10 days. After 10 days, the probability of development will go down. So, I put them all in the incubator and I do what's called dry hatching, meaning that I add no water. It works great for me. Other people it hasn't worked great for. I just know what I do and what is great for me. I'm in Texas. A lot of times humidity is naturally kind of higher, so I think that has something to do with it. Anyway, so put them all in there and you hit the start button basically, and then on usually on day like 5 to 6 you can candle them and see how much development's in there. And I really don't take any eggs out until like day 12. I check on day 12 to see if there's development in there, and if there's not a development in a particular egg, I go ahead and remove it so the ones that are going to hatch will have plenty of room to hatch. So on day 15 to 16, because quails take 18 to 21 days to hatch, day 15 to 16, I go ahead and I add my water in the water reservoir. Once I do that, it will raise the humidity in there, and the humidity does need to be higher the last 3 days that the egg is in there, because it helps weaken the outer shell and it helps them be able to hatch successfully. So once they do start hatching, though, it's almost like popcorn. You get one of them starts to pip, and a pip is whenever you have one little hole that they've made with their beak, and then they zip, which is whenever they do a circular pattern all the way around the egg and then pop, kind of like when you're opening one of those plastic Easter eggs at Easter. So after they start to hatch, it is vitally important that you absolutely do not open that incubator. In fact, 3 days before you hatch, whenever I'm adding the water, that is what's called lockdown. That means that incubator is not opening until it is time to take the quail out to put them in the brooder. Whenever they do all start to hatch, they'll hatch really fast. They hatch quick. Once you're sure they're all done, you have to be certain that there's none of them that's still working on hatching, that's still pipped, or that there's no movement, because whenever you open the incubator, it lowers the humidity so quickly. Even if you open it and put it back on, it lowers it so quickly. The inner membrane of the egg, so you have the hard shell, and then below that you have the inner membrane, will kind of shrink up, and it will shrink wrap the baby chick that is still trying to hatch, and it will trap them in there. And I know that you might think, well, I can just, help them hatch if that happens. So hatching is kind of a complicated process. It's easy, but it's complicated. There's a certain amount of time it takes them to absorb the yolk sac in there and separate from it. I have watched several videos on how to rescue different quail and baby chicks that are in that predicament, and they do have a lot of videos out there, and I recommend going ahead and watching them just in case you wind up in that situation. But for me, I have a hard time actually having success. So normally whenever I have had to help one get hatched, which hasn't happened very many times, I'm going to say about 60% of the time they don't make it, unfortunately. They just don't. And that's part of that is due to nature as well. If they're not healthy enough to hatch, they may have a genetic defect or something wrong with them where they're not going to survive anyway. So you do have to take that into account. Anyway, I just wanted to check on and give y'all that information just so y'all kind of know what to expect. I am super excited about it this year. We're going to do quail that lay blue eggs called Celadon. I think that's how you say it anyway. Celadon, Celadon. Whenever I was reading online, I thought it was Celadon, but I don't know. Anyway, so y'all have a wonderful evening, and I will check in with y'all later.